Hey everybody, I know it's been a while, but I figured I'd go ahead and make a couple of YouTube videos here on some of the service issues I've had with my 2020 Colorado in the past little while. I've had some questions asked on some of the forums about, um, you know, things I've experienced or how I've remedied things or if things have been covered under warranty. So I'm going to go ahead and just get right into it. I'm going to put some clips of my truck over top of the audio just so that way you have something interesting to sort of look at while I talk about some of these service issues. So as some of you may know, I had my torque converter issue. It was flushed and then ultimately just replaced. But after that, I actually encountered another issue. That issue was one day I got up, it was the middle of winter, started the truck up, I could immediately smell coolant. Drove it for, the duration of the week, and it was still kind of present the entire time. Eventually, it got too much, and then I realized that my windows weren't defogging. So obviously, this was an issue, especially in the peak of winter. It actually caused me to have to drive home one day with the window wide open, Ace Ventura style, looking out the side. So took it in, and they were able to determine that it was the heater core. Covered under warranty, thankfully, but just a heads up, if anybody starts to have any defrosting or defogging issues along with the smell of coolant, you're going to want to go ahead and check your passenger side floorboard for the smell of coolant and some fluids. If you've got that smell and there is fluid on your passenger side floorboard, there's a very good chance that it's a blown heater core. They will replace it, obviously, under warranty if you have a warranty still. The process is quite detailed. They have to take apart the entire front end of the truck. They have to take out the front seats, dashboard, console, carpet. All that will be covered, but they still have to do it. The problem that I've found is, unfortunately, when these tabs get taken off, in order to get the dash removed, it will never sit right ever again. You'll have gaps here and there no matter how many times you may complain to them. Unfortunately, that's just the way these GM trucks are built. So you'll have that issue, and you'll also, at least in my experience, you might have an issue with the heater core. It will work, but it will not be as efficient as it was previously. So for example, in the wintertime, I basically have two choices. I can either defog my window or I can heat the cab of the truck. Now, obviously, if I defog my window on high enough warmth or heat, I'm going to get some of that back into the cab anyways. So typically, that's how I run it. But I asked General Motors about this, and they basically said, yeah, it's a quote-unquote better high efficiency one that uses less power that will allow the vehicle to still operate and meet those specifications. So that was a service ticket that I had, and the total number of hours. Oh, my apologies. I don't even have the number of hours listed here. But I'll put that up on the screen for you just so that way you can take a look at the service ticket. Also during this time, I had an issue with my transmission again. It felt like the Shudder had come back. I looked into it again because obviously I had it repaired in the past, replaced. I brought it to their attention. They scoped it. They took a look at it. They did find that when they replaced my torque converter on the original changeover, they actually didn't use the new high heat fluid. If you can see my air quotes here. They didn't use high heat fluid, which basically just caused the Shudder to come back. If you haven't seen my Shudder video and GM's explanation, or at least my current dealership's explanation as to why this Shudder happens, I'll leave a link below for that video so you can check it out. The next two issues I had with my truck actually kind of fell together. It seemed like one caused the other or vice versa. So what had happened was my check engine light came on. The code was P0446, which it was a purge valve issue, but I noticed a significant change in my gas tank mileage. So here in Canada, we use kilometers. Sorry, I'm not sure how to convert this to, freedom units, but basically I would go from 450 kilometers to a tank. I would start the truck, start to drive, get to a stoplight, and the tank would immediately drop by 150 kilometers and act as if I was running out of fuel, or if there was some leak of fuel somewhere. So initially when I took it into them, they said, nope, that's common for the purge valve. Luckily, mine was still, again, covered under warranty. I did have to pay for the part itself, but not the labor, which cost me $65. Again, that's Canadian. And I'll put the service ticket up on the screen for you with this one as well. But it was the purge valve command, as you can see, it was coming on and causing this issue. So they fixed that. I get the truck back and they say, yep, everything's good to go. And then shortly after is when the other issue with the gas tank sensor, or I thought the gas tank sensor had started. So we'll get into that as well. So this gas tank sensor issue, initially I thought it was something to do with the purge valve because that's what the dealership had told me. When I brought it back into them for the second time about my gas mileage, they were able to bring up a TSB for my year vehicle, and you'll see that TSB now on the screen with the service report. This service report, basically, it kind of tries to deflect from the issue and say, with larger tires and whatever, the gas mileage will change, but it was super erratic. Like, there's no change in wheel diameter and size that would cause my gas tank mileage to drop 50 points, 100 points, whatever. So this TSB was actually an update to the ECM. So they updated the ECM, gave me the truck back, as you can see, and it's still doing it. And I've talked to them several times about it. They said they've done what they can do. It's not an issue unless the tank is displaying 0. They're not going to take the truck and fix it or investigate the issue. And to be fair, I kind of don't want them to anyways. And that's just a personal preference, simply because every time I've taken this truck back, they've either broken something or they haven't placed something back in its original orientation and things just get lost. And I've complained, and I'm the type of person that unless it's a big issue, I'll make it a big issue. But any other things that are done by the dealership that aren't correct, they're all little things. They don't bother me. These things happen. I don't get that upset about it. But the gas tank sensor is one of those things where it keeps going up and down. If I fill it up, instead of dropping 50 or 100 points, it only drops like 10 or 15 at any given time. And if I'm freshly filled up, it'll take almost an entire week, almost 2 weeks for that tank sensor to register that I've lost gas. So I guess that's kind of the saving grace or the silver lining, I guess. But I talked to a friend of mine who is a GM employee. He works in the service department. He believes it's a corroded sender unit, a gas tank sender unit. So he's told me that whenever I'm ready, I can bring the truck to him. I'll pay for the part. The labor can be covered under warranty, and we'll get it replaced. It's not too difficult of a job, but the gas tank does have to be dropped. So just keep that in mind if you are planning to do something like that for yourself. However, if you're lucky and you do get this ECM update, please let me know if you've had any issues with the gas tank measurement fluctuating as drastically as before. Another really important thing to note about this is when you take it in, if you have a tune on your Colorado or Canyon, obviously when they update the ECM, you're going to have to contact whoever your tuner is, let them know that there's been an update to the ECM, and they'll update your tune file, bring it back to you so that way you can tune the truck and it'll stay consistent with the programming that the dealership has has upgraded to. So as you can tell, you know, I've had my fair share of issues with this truck. Nothing that's been major, nothing that hasn't been covered under warranty. But that's because I also have the updated warranty. It was a demo truck when I got it. It had 7,000 kilometers on it, which isn't, you know, anything really. But I made sure to get the extended warranty because I knew these trucks could be finicky. And with how I abuse mine, as you can tell, it's just kind of one of those things that it was a smart buy. And, you know, over the course of however many years I have the truck left until it's paid off, I'm not going to complain about a $100 deductible if my warranty work is covered, right? So hopefully this has been informative to some of you guys, whether you've got a purge valve issue or a gas tank sensor issue or the Shudder has come back. Just let me know what you think. I know there's going to be some people that are probably irritated with how these trucks perform and the maintenance that's required to keep them running. For some people it's too much and they trade it in, and it's a shame because these trucks are great. As you can tell, it'll handle it mostly anything that you throw at it, even if you don't go out and you buy a ZR2. So just let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed this content, and I'll catch you on the next one.